I remember I said this, good time don't last, but at the same time, bad time, they don't stay as well. So if you are going through something challenging for you, or if you are in a rough patch of your life today, or now you feel like you are entering a new status, new life phase, or new responsibility, things feel a little bit heavier or a little bit overwhelming for you at this very moment. I just want you to know that we will always be going through changes in life, even though something that we're familiar with may suddenly become different.
This podcast shares personal stories and professional insights to support your financial well being, but it's not a substitute for personal financial, investment, or legal advice. Everyone's situation is unique. Please seek qualified, independent support that fits your life and goals. The full disclaimer and copyright notice is in the episode notes.
Hello, and welcome back to a new episode of the Financial Health Insights podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about ways, share about information and insights about how to help us to nurture better financial health and at the same time to lower our money stress and spend better and become a happier spender so that we can live well today and also plan and live well tomorrow at the same time. My name is Kevin. I'm the host for this podcast, and I've been gone on a unintended break for quite a long time. So what happened was, I think it was the episode in August that due to some technical issue after it has been recorded, then only realized that there was issue with the audio and totally inaudible. And therefore that episode was scratched. And that was the unintended first break that I took, which was forced upon me by circumstances. And then later, because of that break, it became a natural thing for me to take a break from August until September and October. And now we are in the middle of November and I finally have some time to come back to this. So if you have been a listener all this while since the very first time or since a year ago when I relaunched it, I miss you and I hope you miss me as well. And it was not really a purposeful sabbatical. It was just because really been very swamped by a lot of work. There's a lot of client meetings, a lot of financial plans and analyses to go through, and also a lot of things has been happening. And if you have been a listener, you might realize that hey, this is not a virtual backdrop. This is a new recording place, and because this is a new place for me to call as office, so I always say that life there's a lot of adjustment, and sometimes we need to also find ways to use our money to find out how it can help us to improve our quality of life, right? So, because for the last close to 3 years, I'm blessed that my work allow me to be flexible and I create my meeting schedule and work schedule around the timing that I want, which allow me to spend more time with my son and send him to school and his therapies at the best to the best of my abilities. So my son started attending kindergarten in end of September. So August we were actually busy looking for kindergarten, surveying and researching, and also a lot of different kind of issue and drama and concerns arises because of that. Then in the end of September, he started to go for a trial, and then in October, he kind of settling down. So that was the time that we realized that we actually had a lot more time spent at this area, this enclosed area, and he needed to go to 3 different places in throughout in a one day. Therefore, it's very important for us to make sure we can still be productive and at the same time minimize waste of time on the road and whatnot. So I made this decision to rent a place nearby his center, and also will save me a lot of time. And for the last close to a month of this experiment, it just made me feel a lot better with the decision because it really saved a lot of time. And I also have a better place for me to conduct my work, and my productivity will also have been improved a lot to a great deal. But hey, this episode is not to tell you just about what has been going on in my life. I also would like to know whether you are happy or have you been doing well so far. Okay, while there's a lot of things that's going on, I'm sure people go through change. We go through change, and change is like kind of like an inevitable thing. So at the same time, I want you to get this message that while sometimes things change, sometimes what we feel familiar will also suddenly become unfamiliar. Just like my routine, uh, there's a changes here and there, and then we find ways to adapt to it, and we find way to create a new routine that fit into our priority and our core values. And like using back to my example, my core values is just to make sure I am able to be in a position to send my son to his therapy most of the time. So I crafted my schedule, my appointment timing, all these based on his starting and finish the time he finishes his therapy and schooling time. And at the same time, I change the way I work, change the location I work. And of course, all these things in the very beginning, it seems impossible or very challenging or even difficult to think of. Because the truth is, every change, right, there's a new pathway ahead of us, and we cannot see or even predict very well what's ahead of us. So, what we can do is just to really, like, help ourselves to understand ourselves better so that you are clear with what's important for you. And therefore, with this information, you can then slowly uncover what are the options you have available in front of you. And with different options gathered and collected, we can then do our evaluation, like the pro and cons of option A, what it is, pro and cons of option B, what it looks like. And hopefully from there, you will find out actually which kind of option, or maybe it's a combination of option A, option B, and option C that gives you your option or your decision or your choice or the choice that fits into how you want things to be or looks like or experience life yourself. So it might be challenging in the beginning, however, keep faith and have a lot of spend time to understand and get feedback about what's important to you. I think that is very important. And recently, I also did a talk for a very well-known company for most of us. And I remember I said this because the talk is also about change, about how do we get through difficult time, challenging time, or major change events in life. So I remember I said this: good time don't last, but at the same time, bad time they don't stay as well. So if you are going through something challenging for you, or if you are in a rough patch of your life today, or now you feel like you are entering a new status, new life phase, or new responsibility, things feel a little bit heavier or a little bit overwhelming for you at this very moment, I just want you to know that we will always be going through changes in life, even though something that we're familiar with may suddenly become different. Sometimes not just our life, or maybe I remember an example that I said, like, if I love to eat a nasi lemak store nearby my house, I go there almost frequently, and I know that it will always be there. But it could be one day that that boss just simply no longer able to sell anymore, or cannot wake up, or they decided to relocate, and therefore I will need to do different things to find back the same kind of food that I love. So these are little changes that can happen in our life. Not to mention, of course, law also can change, new taxes, and also throughout this small sabbatical break of this podcast, we also have changes on how much we pay for 1 liter of petrol, right? And at the same time, I'm sure there are many, many different kind of changes. And recently, we also read news that Genting will want to impose a toll fare for people who go to there to spend money. So these are all the changes, and changes in life is just like a norm. And the only thing you can expect is if you feel like your life is changing, it will continue to happen that way. So the key is, I guess, is to always know what we want, is to always understand who we are, and find out a way for us to use our money, our time, our energy, our attention, and take good care of ourselves so that we can continue to weather through all the challenges, all the changes. And hopefully, once the dust are settled, once you come out from the storm or cross to the end of the other tunnel, you still come out being the same person that you want to be, and not let all the changes or whatnot cause us to lose our own identity and what's really important for us. I think that is super crucial. And we can only do that when we are very clear about what we want and identify what are the things that maybe will stress us out or worry us a lot or very important for us. And then we make preparation in advance. The best time to do preparation for anything is before that event becomes a reality or before it happens. The second best time is if you have not started prepare for something yesterday, the second best time is do it now. All right. And another thing that is important that I learned from this unintended sabbatical break is this. Imagine actually before that technical issue on that episode happened, I have been already thinking about maybe I should take a break from the podcast so that we can come back with a different ideas or fresher perspective. But I didn't do that. So the thing is, you see, I was very locked in on not missing an episode because it was supposed to be every Friday, 7 o'clock morning on time, at least since April 2024. I have never missed it. So I thought maybe I should just stick it until April 2026. Then only I'll take a break. But I felt that it's the need and the timeline pressure to make sure one episode can be rolled out has been quite demanding as and when my schedule and other responsibility pick up. So I became a little burnt out from this. Now, what is the thing that I learned from here is that had I allowed myself the time and take some space to really set a schedule of let's go on a break from let's say early or for the whole month of August, then I guess I will still work hard to find time to record and come back from September onwards. But because it is an unintended break and it happened because that episode was scratched and that was already midnight of Thursday. So no matter what, I would not be able to record a new episode and edit it and roll out the next morning. Therefore, that was the thing that triggered the break. And because there is a lack of clear goal or timeline, once in break, that everything get loose because more project, more deadline, more things to go on. So I could not then find a time to come back on the podcast. Now, if I really set a deadline, only August I'll go on break. I'll break for just 4 episodes or 5 episodes in August. That will be a lot different. So what I learned is this: if we set a goal or timeline for ourselves to get things done, more likely we will get things done. But if we don't and we just say, I will do this, I'm going to do this soon, I want to do this later, then it is quite likely also that we are at risk of keep on delaying and delaying and delaying. Of course, if it's very important, you will find a way to come back later. But like this one, I only make an effort, a concerted effort to come back. Now it's already middle of November, which is almost like, I think I missed out 4 times 3, 12 to 15 episode already, which is a lot, right? Yeah. So that's the last thing I learned. And that's the other thing that I learned from this unintended sabbatical break. So I just want to kickstart of recording a new episode, and build back the momentum and habit, because to me it's still very or extremely important to continue my project or this work under this podcast, Financial Health Insights. You know why? Because I have received a lot of feedback and from either people who have consulted together or have coaching sessions together, or from listeners that I have not met them or known them before. And those messages were really heartwarming, and it encouraged me, and it also reinforced to me that this podcast, while I have not really talked about it or share it, proactively, however, people who stumble upon it or people who listen to it or watch it, they find something from it. They found something positive, beneficial for them. And I think this is in itself a very important feedback for me that I'm doing something meaningful and I'm doing something that really matches my core value, even though I have to spend time to edit, spend money to subscribe to certain software or equipment to do this. To me, it makes me happy. And therefore, I hope slowly, if you are listening more and more, you will find ways to help yourself to plan better, live better, and become yourself. And ultimately, I want you to be able to enjoy your money and become a happier spender. All right. So I hope you are glad that this thing is now, you are watching a new episode, and I'll roll up more. And also, of course, before we wrap this up, last 2 months, I also been doing some talk, and some of it I do have the recording. I will also probably try to roll out another episode very close to this one, which is a talk I do for a recent major events in the country called Invest Smart Fest at SC, which is a flagship event organized by Security Commission Malaysia. And I had the honor to take up a slot to speak about a session. I think the title was something like a smart move for a stress-free retirement. So I will put this up as a separate standalone episode. So if you're interested to know how to build a smart and stress-free retirement for yourself, then make sure you do keep up, follow the show, so that when that episode is rolled out, you will be notified. And of course, if you find useful, share with people you can as well. Okay. Okay. With that, I will sign off from this impromptu episode again. Take care. Bye bye.